Let's talk anime. Hello and welcome back to Brandon's Discuss Anime, a 15 plus Reckless Amoeba podcast. I am your host, Brandon Horvath, and with me are my co-hosts, Brandon Falinger.
Something clever.
Good job, man. That was one of your best intros ever.
Very clever,
Thank you. God, I feel so good about myself right now.
Also with us,
I was looking in the mirror and I was thinking, you know what? You're a piece of shit. You don't deserve anything. But thanks to that little bit of praise, I now feel better about myself.
Hey.
Also with us, Ryan Stokely.
We all put on our pants one leg at a time, you know?
It's just that some of us might have 3 legs, or even 4.
Or in my case, none, since I'm an amoeba.
You're in fact a single cell. Technically, you can shape yourself so you can have as many legs as you fucking want. Your leg total is question mark.
So, guys, did you hear about Japan's latest amusement park?
Besides Super Mario Land, or is it something else?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's Super Nintendo World.
Yeah, close enough.
Opening March 18th, 2021 in Universal Studios Japan.
I mean, that's been a thing for a while. The real question is, why didn't it happen sooner?
Yeah, it seems really interesting. From what I was reading about, there is this AR coaster ride where you fight Bowser and stuff.
I'd like to repeat, this should have been a thing in 2006.
Yeah.
They should have started then.
I could see your point. I could see why you want that, but I would...
No, I'm just saying, video games at that point were large enough that, especially in Japan, that there's no reason that they wouldn't have thought to do this. It feels like this is literally almost 20 years too late. 15 years, technically.
It was supposed to open last year, but COVID.
Yeah, that doesn't change my opinion of this should have been put into the works literally back in 2006. It's a big enough thing, especially in Japan. Eventually in the West, fine, if you wanted to open one up in California or something like that, whatever. Yeah. But it feels like this is way later than it should have been.
It should have been in the 90s.
I don't think it was quite popular enough to get it in the 90s.
I don't know, dude. They had what was that movie? The Wizard? Where
was that 90s or was that late 80s? Where they had the Power
80s.
Glove and shit?
Yeah, where that's
where
that they
80s.
Actually unveiled Mario 3, I think.
Yeah,
in the movie.
Yeah, but I think that's how they wasn't it just an ad for Mario Brothers 3 or something?
I mean, kind of the same way the Space Jam was just a commercial for Air Jordans, really.
Yeah.
And was Mario Sunshine 06?
I
maybe
want to say that was a little earlier, 02 or 04.
Yeah.
Oh, when did Galaxy come out then?
08, I want to say.
Oh, so...
Yeah, it came out with Wii.
Galaxy. Yeah, it was right with the Wii. Either with it on launch or just after. Sunshine with 2002. Orion was correct. Let's see. What is Galaxy? Now I'm curious.
I'm looking too.
Galaxy was boop 07. 1 year late.
Okay.
Yeah, no. This should have been put into the works pre-2010. It started and probably finished in the 20-teens.
So I just wonder what kind of food will be at this, because of course you need themed food at amusement parks.
See, here's an easy one. All right, I'll give them this one. You get the sugar cones, the ones that have the flat bottoms and stuff, right?
Okay.
And you have red vanilla ice cream with white marshmallows in it. And you plop that on the cone and you got yourself a mushroom cone.
I could see that.
There's an easy one right there.
Huh.
Red velvet ice cream or something like that actually would be perfect with marshmallows in it.
There's also a Captain Toad treasure hunt that you could go on.
All right. That's interesting. I haven't played Captain Toad to really. I should say I haven't played Captain Toad enough, because there's like some Captain Toad stuff I think in Odyssey, if I recall correctly. But I haven't played like the original Captain Toad, so I can't speak too much for that one.
And they have a purchasable...
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I need to add to that. I need to ask the question: are they attaching weights to the children because Captain Toad can't jump?
It seems that you're riding a Yoshi-shaped cart around.
Is there a Mario Kart racetrack?
I'm not 100%. There is... Oh no, the Bowser Fight roller coaster is Mario Kart themed.
I'm disappointed. We need to have like a little kart racer.
And there seems to be purchasable armbands that allows you to store progress in the park, and you need to.
Oh,
I'm
sorry. I just thought of something.
Just hold that thought a second.
Oh.
But you need to find 3 keys within the park to take on Bowser Jr. as a final boss of the park.
Oh, cool.
I just thought of something that would be so cool.
Okay.
Okay. So, we're going back to the Mario Kart like racetrack area, right? What if they have like installed on the cart an LCD screen, and like you get to a point where you get to one of like the boxes that are set up around there somewhere, right? Like they'll have a box or something set up for like an item claim or something that you can get.
Okay.
You know, whether that's like a hologram or something, I don't know. But you pass through it, right? And you on your little LCD screen, you get like the random sound effect and like the random item pops up. And then you push the button on when to use it, and it randomly decides based on who's in front or behind with the item who gets hit. And when they get hit, the engine on that cart cuts out for a couple seconds.
Oh.
Like you can have literal Mario Kart without actively like violently throwing shells at people.
Interesting. But since this is half a coaster, I'm not too sure how that would work.
No. I'm saying we're going back to the whole Mario Kart racetrack idea.
Okay.
Like, and you implement that shit. Like, that would be awesome.
Oh, so there would be like an actual race kind of with 8 cars.
Yeah.
Like bumper cars kind of?
No, regular cars. Like regular carts. Obviously, they'll have like the plastic around them in case you would bump into people, because God knows people are going to do that.
So it would be like bumper cars, like the bumper car shaped car.
No. It would be a cart, and there are like when was the last time you were at an amusement park, man? Because like they have these all over the place.
A while ago. I'm not much of an amusement park kind of guy, because it seems that amusement parks these days are all thrill rides, and I'm not a coaster fan.
Understandable.
Like, let's see here. I'm trying to see if I can find a good picture of this for you. Oh no, here, this one, perfect. Here we go. Boop. There, like that.
Okay,
it's got like an entire ring of plastic around it to help from like catching tires and shit.
Okay, yeah.
And bumping.
Now I know what you're talking about.
Like, it'd literally be the original Mario Kart design or something like that, or maybe like some of the more recent ones that are crazy looking, with that around it, you know, a plastic piece around it, and you'd literally have like an LCD screen or something built into it.
I would love that.
Or like a touch screen, and it's just like, launch it! Launch that launch the blue shell. Hit the guy in first. Fuck him up.
Dude. Oh, man. They could have like one of those sky ride type things, but you're in like the little cloud with the turtle.
What's the flipping Lakitu. Lakitu.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a Lakitu cloud. That's your sky ride.
And although it's called Super Nintendo World, the like 2 articles I'm looking at doesn't seem to have any non-Mario related things.
I'm gonna say you could have like a Kong Mountain roller coaster if you wanted that.
Or like some Zelda castle.
Shit. King K. Rool, when he was like the pirate king, or like the pirate thing for that one series, you could have like a water park section with that.
Ah.
You have bloopers all over the place. And cheap cheaps.
Interesting.
So my real question is, right, when you walk into the park, are there question blocks that you can jump up and punch and get an item out of?
That would be like a game, I guess.
No, that would be so cool. If like you do that and instead it like spits out a coupon somewhere for you.
Oh.
It's like, here, have this free item. Like a free like food item or something.
Interesting.
Like you punch it and it spits out, here you go. You get like the mushroom cone that I described earlier. Free mushroom cone. That'd actually be perfect. Like you can only hit it on your way in when you after you pay admission. You get the free you get to hit the block and you get a free item, free coupon for it.
That'd be cool.
They'd be great. It's like, what are you gonna do? You get a free soft drink if you're not gonna buy a hot dog? It would literally improve your sales on food because they're not gonna get just the one item. It's gonna entice them for other things. Or hell, if they're in a group, it's going to entice the rest of the group to be like, oh, that looks really good. Gimme.
Marketing!
Literally, hi, I know what I'm doing.
You said you had something you wanted to talk about too, Brandon.
Yeah, so I've mentioned this to you. I forget if I've been, because it's been like a fucking month because February has just been like snow everywhere, fuck you.
Yeah.
Which is why like we've had to delay everything really because February hates us. And just the Northeast in general, I guess. So I don't know if I mentioned this the last time, but I was playing the original Demon Souls on my PS3 recently. Like, you know, putting in an hour here or there at the end of the day. And the last time I played it, the light, I forget which one it was. I want to say it was the blue one, which is for the disc drive, was like blinking like crazy and it wasn't turning off because I'd like hit the button to turn it off. And I'm like, all right, this is weird. So I hit the power switch on the back to just cut the power from it.
Yeah.
And I went to boot it up last night to kick in for an hour and it refused to like read the disc. So I'm like, no, what the hell is this? Is it just not reading the disc or what's going on? Here, like I started listening to it, I started looking up videos, and apparently it's like, no, it's just not spinning the disc, like outright. It's registering that it's in there. I can eject it, put in a new one, same thing happens. It's not spinning the disc. So I think my disc drive is completely fucked.
Oh.
So the solution is one of two things. Either buy a new PS3, well, used because there's not a new one anywhere probably, unless I really search for one.
Yeah.
Or replace the disc drive. And I was looking and it's like, oh man, what's just out of shits and giggles, what's a GameStop PS3 cost? For like the cheapest one, which is like, I don't know, 50 to 80 gigabytes, I want to say, which fuck me, other than just storage of save games, which I don't have a lot of PS3 games left. I have a handful, but I know I want to get more if I can find them laying around somewhere. I guess 50 gigs wouldn't be too bad, but like it's $80 or something there. Actually, while I'm thinking of it, out of curiosity, what does a PS3 cost on eBay?
Probably, I'd say $100, $80.
Depends on what you're looking for. Oh my god. PS3 fat, slim, or super slim console with 4 random games. Okay, yeah, no, fuck that. That's dumb. That's like 170 for that, 240, 150. There's an 81 for a slim with controllers. I might buy a controller off of eBay. I don't know. But I ended up looking up a whole bunch of stuff and just seeing how to like replace the disk drive. It doesn't seem too difficult. So I might just buy a disk drive and end up replacing that, and then my PS3 should work again. Because I was watching some instructional videos and had to like take it apart. So I'm like, why not? Because the disk drive that the one guy I watched link to was like $50 with shipping.
Damn.
So I'm like, if I do this and I do all the replacement myself, it's like $30 less than if I buy a Slim, which I don't even know if that would be enough, memory space for whatever I want to do with the thing. Plus, it's a decent Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm like,
forgot that they had Blu-rays on that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, maybe I'll just get that and replace it. I'm kind of leaning toward that. So I need to look up a couple more instructional videos just to be sure I know what I'm doing. Because it seems like just, all right, cool, pop the screws out, pop the top lid off, grab the disk drive, and just unclip all the wires to it. And then I'm not sure if I would need to do this or not, which is why I need to check, but move the motherboard from the disk drive to the new one, from the old disk drive to the new one.
Mm.
And I'm like, I'm not sure why I would need to do that, but if it's like the exact same disk drive, but fuck it. We'll find out. Worst comes to worst, I try to plug everything in and try to hit the disk drive in there, like put the disk in, and it doesn't work. And it's like, all right, well, I got to do that now. Gotta flip those motherboards, but hey, it shouldn't be that hard. It's just a bunch of unscrewing and rescrewing from the look of it. So that'll probably be sometime this week or next week, whenever that part ends up arriving. Just curious, what else have I been doing? Let me look at Steam. I popped into War of the Chosen, which kind of sucks because apparently XCOM 2 War of the Chosen does not like mods at all, from what I can see, and every solution I've tried to get them to work has failed. So I'm just stuck with like the basic stuff and like the one singular mod that works, which is just adding new armor colors.
Oh.
So I'm like, there goes all of my fancy like character customization for this thing. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it still works on normal XCOM, but War of the Chosen, not so much. That's about it for me.
So, Ryan, anything from you?
Not really. Just been playing some Valheim. Pretty fun.
How many times have you died?
Probably like 6.
Only 6?
Yeah.
I would expect a lot more.
6 or 7. Yeah, I use the bow a lot.
Oh, I see.
I try to sneak like in Skyrim.
Sneak 100.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I play with Josh, my nephew. He's like about to beat the final boss. But it's really cool. I don't know, the boss fights. It's like a Skyrim feel to it. Like a RPG element with Minecraft crap, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I don't know, it's fun. There's giant trolls. And if you cut a tree down, it can fall on and kill you, which is hilarious when it happens. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
I had been looking at it myself too, and I'm just like, the only thing that's holding me back is it's early access, and that's always really heavily put me off since DayZ fucked me on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and we all went in on Dungeon Alchemist, which appears to be this AI generating D&D map maker.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw by the end of its Kickstarter campaign, it had the equivalent of 2.9 million USD. So good for them. Good for them for making such a interesting looking Kickstarter that so many people wanted to contribute.
Yeah.
Now just don't fucking take the money and run.
I don't think they will, but
I hope not. I've just heard horror stories of people doing that.
Dude, imagine like only expecting to get so much, and then like now you're a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah.
The stress of that's like all I think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I saw their top thing was, I think, like 1 million euros, which is about, I think, like $1.2 million. So they did like 2.5 times better than their top stretch goal, which is super fascinating.
Oh yeah.
Another thing that's super interesting, today's anime,
Is it though?
Finally, we get to it.
which is the final season of Avatar.
Oh no.
Ah, is it though?
Do the graphic novels count as an additional season?
I think I have all the graphic novels. I never read them.
Some people might consider that. Other people might consider it not the final season because Korra does pick up afterward.
But is Korra its own separate entity? Kind of? Sort of?
Yes and no, because characters overlap.
Hmm.
Like, who was it? Katara is literally there if in like the first or second episode.
I did see Zuko shows up.
Zuko shows up at some point. I haven't seen that far in. I know Toph shows up, I think, in season 4.
Hmm. So, season 3, as a whole, I love this series.
I would like to ask, because, you know, I have to, is Toph best girl?
Yes, I admit it.
Fuck mommy Katara. Alright. I don't give a shit about Suki. I mean, I guess May is okay. Give me Toph all day, every day. Because she is so fun.
Season 2, I was leaning towards Ty Lee, but just because of the whole contrast between her and Azula, I like that.
I mean, like you're literally looking at a dom and sub situation. Like Azula just literally runs over everyone else and leaves them in the dust.
Yeah.
Like she quite literally does not give a fuck about your feelings. You follow her orders.
So how long has it been since season 2? Like 3 months? 2 months? Because Aang has hair.
I believe he said he was out for about 2 months. He was unconscious.
Yeah, so 2 less months to prepare for Sozin's comet.
And then he gets all stubborn and flies off on his own and realizes, fuck me, I can't do this. I've still got a fucking lightning bolt injury. Speaking of which, they actually like kept that fairly consistent because you can see where it is on his chest, but he's got the exit wound on his foot still too, like the bottom of his foot.
What about the spot on his back?
It's weird because it like pierces through, but it also routed to the ground.
Hmm.
So like split in 3 almost.
Yeah, that's forked lightning for you.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to season 1, did you ever watch any of it, Ryan?
I watched like probably season 1 and 2, but random episodes.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
familiar with some of the characters, but yeah.
Yeah, some people may consider this anime. I would say it's the closest anime we get in America.
Oh yeah,
American made.
it's literally the closest thing. If your definition of anime is just it needs to be made by Japan, or at least produced in Japan, this is the closest American version you're going to probably get to like an actual anime. Because it mimics a lot of the styles. It's heavily influenced.
Was it what studio did it? Was it like was it Nickelodeon studio?
I know they shipped off a good chunk of it to a Korean studio to do the animation.
But
I don't know who did like keyframes and stuff.
Actually, I think we discussed last time how they were 2 different animation studios simultaneously working on it.
I do remember now that you say that. Yes, I think we did discuss that. Oh my god, is this good? I'll say this at the start. I personally feel like, and I think others agree, that this feels like a season that should have been split in 2 because we have what is essentially 2 season finales in this.
Yeah? One at the end of episode 11, and then the actual finale at episode 21.
Yep.
And a 4-part series finale.
Yep.
now that I'm looking at it, was actually done as a movie. So all 4 episodes back to back.
Oh my god, did you like... How did you like Aang's old style of, like, Fire Nation fucking culture? Like, he just starts running in and using his, like, knowledge, because apparently when he was still, like, 100 years ago, before he froze himself in ice, he had been to the Fire Nation and had a friend there, and he just is using what he used to know about how to talk to people there. It'd be like somebody talking to nowadays like they're out of the fucking 50s. Actually, the 1920s. It'd be like you're coming from Prohibition time. You'd be talking about movies and saying, oh man, those talkies though. And he's just there like, oh, hello, Hotman. Hotman? Yes, Hotman. Like,
Everybody's just looking awkwardly.
what's this kid talking about? Oh god. Like, there's an episode about, like... Oh, I need to ask you this, Brandon, because I know you probably loved this character. Did you like, in the Painted Lady episode, did you like the guy who kept changing his persona? Like... Oh, man, you must be talking about my twin brother, Doc, and he just flips on another hat. Hey, I'm Doc!
That was the best.
Just... blatantly, like he'd go behind a counter, do that whole like walking down the stairs shtick, and then he'd pop up around the other side wearing a different hat and claim he was a different person. And then it was going between 2 twins apparently, and then there's a third one at the very end who just flips on a new hat, and he's like, "Oh, you must be talking about my brothers Doc and Mock. They're crazy."
Yes.
All right, look, Cabbage Merchant didn't show up in this season. He was referenced, but he didn't show up. This guy takes Cabbage Merchant to the next level.
I just love if they would like Avatar shorts as like bonus features on a DVD or something.
Just following like random side characters.
I would love like the adventures of this dude for a day.
How does he work with the villagers? Because we haven't seen him interact there, really.
Do they know he's full of shit? Or
I have to imagine.
Or do they just roll with it?
I think it's both. Because it's more of a pain to, like, argue. Like, you see Aang, who points it out at the end of the episode, and when he flips on the third person's hat, and he's just so pissed off, because, like, I caught you. What the fuck is this? Like, he calls it out.
And speaking about Aang using knowledge from the past, they all need Fire Nation disguises, and Aang gets a school uniform.
Which he doesn't realize at the time. Actually, I never realized this. So he puts on a headband, right? To like cover up his air nomad tattoos so they don't notice it. The symbol on the actual headband is the symbol for the school. I hadn't even realized that the first time when I first saw that.
Oh!
It's like only watching this the second time now, like fully all the way through, that I noticed like, oh shit! I didn't know that! I never realized that!
Interesting. So, he's being like taught Fire Nation history. He raises his hand and says, actually, I think it went this way. And the teacher's like, well, how do you know that? Unless you lived 100 years ago. Yeah.
Oh god. That episode also slightly confused me because, right, we get, I mean, this is just because like they don't allow this for the kids, but for the adults it's a little different. Like there is literally a point where in that episode where like the kids don't even know what the fuck a dance is, right? Like they don't know how to express their emotions because they're being taught militaristic shit. It's essentially a military school. They have no emotions allowed, essentially. So we get to a point later on in this. That's like what? That's episode 2, right?
Yeah.
Where we have the school thing. Yeah. So then, what episode is? Just curious. 5. Episode 5. It almost feels like it contradicts it because all of a sudden we're having a beach party with like the teenagers.
Yes, Avatar does have a beach episode.
it's actually really introspective on a lot of the characters. Like, it's not just, oh, cool, let's slap some of the girls in sexy bikinis and shit. It's, oh no, we're gonna talk about why we're all fucked up.
That was one of my favorite episodes.
It's very interesting. We're kind of skipping over the fact that Sokka gets a really cool space sword.
Yeah.
Here's the fun part. That entire episode takes place in a single day. Sokka becomes a fucking sword master in a single day.
Yeah. And the guy living in the Fire Nation was saying, oh, I knew you were in Fire Nation. You need to choose a better name than Sokka if you want to hide out here.
Choose Lee. There's a million Lees.
If you remember, back in season 2...
Sorry, No, go ahead. Finish your thought. I'll bring this up again.
If you remember, back in season 2, when Zuko was hiding out, and people were asking him his name, he said Lee.
Yep. Which is interesting considering he's... Well, then again, I guess he's pretending to be a Fire Nation person still, like a deserter or something.
Yeah.
What I wanted to mention was at the end, and it was probably this way in the beginning, and I missed it. When they go up to Sokka's, like, the sword master, right? They go up to those doors.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice what was on those doors?
I did not. Probably a reference that I'm missing, and I may catch it a second time through.
The lotus tile is on the doors with the Fire Nation symbol in the center.
Oh!
Like, it's right there, and you don't notice it unless you're going through the second time.
Oh!
Like, it's in plain sight.
Wait, so is this where Aang ends up?
No. We're talking about Sokka's sword master. This is basically like a Sokka episode where, like, he goes off and he's like, "You guys all got like this special bending shit. I got nothing. You know, I don't got anything. I'm a piece of shit." And like they're sitting there like, "But Sokka, you got the comedy though. We need you." And like there's shots of the kids just sitting around bored out of their skull and attempting shitty jokes, and they're just like, "We don't know what we're doing. We're horrible at jokes. We need Sokka." And like he comes back for half a second, like, "Sokka, tell jokes, please. We need something."
And he gives a non-joke, and everybody finds it hilarious.
Oh, it's the stupid joke of like, "Please say something funny," and he just says something funny. Done. But yeah, like at the start of the episode, a meteorite falls down. Sokka and the rest of them go out, grab the meteorite, and are like, "All right, cool. Now that the master's accepted me, and I need to make my own sword, let's make it out of this space rock." So he gets a meteorite sword by the end.
And the lotus tile is a symbol for people from all 4 nations who are unified.
Think of it like a secret society, really.
Okay.
It's like your Freemasons, I guess.
The stone.
It was definitely referenced in season 2 at one point. When Iroh walks into a Lotus meeting point and Zuko's left out in the cold because like, hey, we can't trust him yet.
Oh no! It's like, I want to play Pie Show. And like their game is like a secret language.
Oh, it wasn't even that. There's a point where they like meet up down in the bottom, like in a cellar, and Zuko has to wait outside.
I remember like maybe an earlier episode.
Yeah, there was an earlier episode that did that. There was an episode later on that had that point.
Okay.
I believe that was like Iroh trying to get like supplies or something for them, or get themselves into Ba Sing Se, maybe.
And I did see at the end of the episode, granted it may not make sense now because I'm not too sure if their logo changed, but Toph bended part of the meteorite into the Nickelodeon splat.
Yeah, I think that was a reference. So let's talk about the beach episode for a second, because like you said, that one's probably one of the best, because much like the episode in Batman where it's just the villains shooting the shit over a game of like poker or something, explaining how Batman fucked them over, it's a great introspective on these villains. Where like we get May, who by the end, like we get, actually even better, we get Azula trying to be a normal person for like 5 seconds, and she cannot control her psychosis. Like she gets like a little pep talk from Ty Lee on like how to flirt with boys, and it's like, oh, just laugh at everything they say. Just smile and laugh at everything they say, even if it's not funny. Well, like she goes out on the balcony with the guy that's throwing the party, and like she laughs at the one joke he says, and then she starts going off like, whoa, man, we'll be the strongest couple and crush everyone beneath us. And like the tiki torches behind her are just exploding with fire as she gets more and more insane and intense. And then the like surfer dude bro, who's the one who was throwing the party, is just like, yeah. It's just looking side to side. I gotta go. Just like really shitty, just like off screen.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like that was probably one of the best jokes of that episode. But like after that we get a point at the end where they're all like the three was it 3, 4 or 5?
4.
The 4 of them are sitting around a campfire explaining how they're all kind of fucked up. Like Zuko is just angry at everything until he's like, no, I'm angry at myself. I'm pissed off at myself because I don't know whether or not what I'm doing is right or wrong. You get Ty Lee, who's like, gets called a circus freak. He's like, yeah, I ran off to the circus because I have like 8 or 9 sisters and I feel like I'm just part of a set. Now at least I have something that makes me feel like I'm my own person. You have May, who starts complaining about how like she's given everything she could ever want so long as she shuts up and stays silent and doesn't take a step at a turn. And then you have Azula, who literally calls everything that they've said up until that point about their problems acts. Like the performances, like they're not real. And then she just offhandedly comments, like, after they're all like, oh yeah, because you're so perfect. It's like, oh yeah, no, not. My mom called me a monster. She was right, of course, but, you know, it still hurt. She just offhandedly references the fact that she is literally called out as a child that she is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Which we've seen, like, flashbacks of her just torturing animals at certain points.
She, like, killed people?
She killed plenty of, like, poor innocent animals that did nothing wrong in the past.
I would say...
She can't kill people unless it's, like, off-screen and just only kind of referenced as maybe it happened.
If this wasn't on Nickelodeon, I would say, oh yes, you would see shots of her setting people on fire.
Oh, people would just be, if this was not a kid's show, there would, especially in this last season, there'd be a lot of deaths. A shit ton of death. The fact that this is a kid's show kind of holds it back, I'm not gonna lie, with where they go with this shit. The closest thing they get to admitting death is saying, like, oh yeah, there was an Airbender genocide after Aang left. And that's in season 1.
What about the Toph becomes a thief episode?
Well, I was gonna say there's also the one where, like, we reference Katara's mother, and it's kind of unclear whether or not she died at certain points.
Yeah?
Because, like, when you start following the logic, it doesn't really make a whole bunch of sense, but you have to assume, oh, it's a kid's show, so unfortunately it can't, given the situation they're trying to portray. Because, like, one of the things we get in a flashback with Katara is that, like, she runs in to, like, her house. And she's, like, I don't know, fucking 6 maybe. Into her house, there's a Fire Nation, like, dude in there who's demanding answers from her mom about where the new waterbender is in this North Pole, because there's no other waterbenders here than one. Some mole within the tribe has, like, given away that there's someone here. So the mother ends up sending Katara away, and she's like, I'll tell you if you let my child leave. Cool, whatever, fine. Get the kid, fuck off, kid. So she runs to, like, her dad to try and get her dad, and by the time they get back, there's no body. Or actually, even better, she says, "You can take me prisoner. I'm the new waterbender," and he's like, "Oh, I'm not taking prisoners today." But then Katara and her dad get back, and apparently her mom's just gone. The man and my mom were just gone. We're gone when we got back, and it's like, so did he kill her?
Yeah,
And if he
remember.
did, why did he take the corpse away?
Or is she still alive?
Well, that's the other question. But the guy outright said he's not taking prisoners.
Huh.
So I have to assume that she was
Yeah,
murdered, and in which case, why take the corpse?
Yeah.
Like, that's the second one where it's like, I'm not sure which way this is trying to go, and I have to assume that because it's a kid's show, they couldn't outright say the body was there. They have to make it not make sense to get away with what they want to do.
Yeah, there is.
There's an episode where Aang can't sleep and he's constantly hallucinating. Oh, did you like the hallucination episode because he didn't get sleep?
Yes.
Where there's a point where like Momo and Appa are suddenly samurais fighting each other.
Talking.
Literally talking. Appa's wielding like 4 swords. And Momo's like an old Ronin with just like 1 sword and the Hakama on.
I think that was a good balance from the previous episode, the bloodbending episode.
Literally, waterbenders are bending the blood inside of people's
like
bodies.
What I would probably want to do.
And like puppeteering them.
Wait, so they can either kill them or just like control them, basically?
Well, here's what we find out. Like, this is kind of a horror episode where we keep, or like the closest thing to one, I guess, where we keep like hearing about this forest where people keep disappearing, right? And then the kids get invited into like this this inn where this old lady has just been, taking care of people, and she's like, oh, you don't have to worry here. You only just have been disappearing when they're like out in the woods at night, but we're in a house, we'll be good, it's fine. And they're getting suspicious, and then they pop open, like, while she's out getting groceries, they pop open and like bust into the house, essentially, like looking around and searching shit.
Yeah.
And get into a locked attic door, which has just. Well, here's my real question, right? Why is there just an attic with a single locked box in it? Because that's all that was in there.
Yeah.
And inside the locked box is a comb that kind of reveals that this lady was a water tribe girl who's like living in the Fire Nation now. And she reveals the whole sad backstory of how she was captured. Like, she was one of the waterbenders of the North tribe where Katara and Sokka are from. And she eventually was captured by the Fire Nation and, imprisoned for a long-ass time until she managed to figure a way to escape, which was develop a way to bend the blood within people, which she started off with rats doing that, and then was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna unlock this door with you right there. You're gonna grab your keys and unlock it for me. Which I have to ask why she didn't like force that to happen for other, locked up waterbenders in there, but okay. And in the end, she literally forces Katara to learn the technique, regardless of whether Katara wants to or not, by forcing Sokka to whip out his sword and Aang to like fly at each other. And she's forced to learn it to stop Aang from just being stabbed to death with Sokka's sword. Now, they did say they can only do this technique on like a full moon when their power's at their strongest. So they can't just willy-nilly do it any time of the day. But it is.
So they can only control blood at night?
They could only control blood during a full moon.
Okay, that's weird. There's
no
like lycanthrope.
No, waterbending has been based on the tides, and that's been associated with the moon.
Okay.
So because of that, they draw their strength from the moon, and like in the first season, if the moon would go out, they lose their bending with a lunar eclipse. Or in the case of
New moon.
Yeah, and new moon, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I was thinking of. In a new moon, they would lose it. So yeah, they need a full moon in order to use blood bending. However, it was a technique that this woman, Hama, developed. So she was the only one, and then once she was eventually taken in by the villagers that she had been capturing for some reason and not just killing, because kids show, she had forced Katara to be the only other person to learn it at that point. So one, all the villagers that Hama had captured should probably be dead based on everything we know about her backstory and how much she hates the Fire Nation. Two, Hama, who was then captured, should probably be immediately executed because of how fucked she's been, both capturing or killing which would make more sense.
Yeah.
Like that, and even just like the poses and the style that they use to display blood bending is really fucked looking. Like, it's real creepy with the way they move around.
Like, is it like a marionette or?
Oh, it's marionette. Moving people around. They act like marionettes.
Ew.
Can we talk about Mr. Oh, what does Sokka call him? Like, before he got his name of Combustion Man.
Oh, Sparky Boom Man?
He's a guy that can fire lasers from his forehead.
I don't think it's a laser. I think that's literally a depiction of, like, the mental energy shooting, I guess. Because, like, you don't see them avoiding the laser or anything. You just see the explosion behind them happening.
Ah.
Like, he's got a tattoo of an eye on his forehead, and he's bald. And he's like, takes a deep breath, and just gets an intense look on his face. And then you see, like, this weird sparkly color, sparkly kind of thing shoot out of his forehead. And then an explosion happens wherever that hits. Like, it is explosions. And that fight is fucking cool between him and Aang on the first time. Like, Aang hiding in a pillar, gathering up stone and rock around him, and then, like, trying to get away as he's wrapped in rock armor. Which I'd like to point this out, too. There is also... Oh, no, that happens later on. Whatever, I'll hold off on that. We have the Day of Black Sun that we've been talking about the setup for from last season, which is meant to be the day of the solar eclipse. Which, since firebenders draw their fire power from the sun, if the sun goes out for some reason, no more firebending. So they go and invade the Fire Nation, bringing in a whole bunch of people of that they've met over the course of the series, whether it's the Swamp Benders, the Boulder shows up again.
And wasn't there some crazy... No, that was, Aang's earthbending friend.
Haku? Was it Haku?
No, his best friend for the Earth Kingdom.
Oh, Boomy.
Boomy, thank you. And for an old man, Boomy kicks ass.
Oh yeah, he shows up later, but yes. Boomy is an ass kicker. He ain't that old.
For being physically 110, he kicks so much ass.
I think he's actually like 112, but yes. I think he's the same age as Aang.
Okay.
Hell, by the end of the series, he might be 113. I don't know when his birthday is. But yeah, we bring in a whole bunch of characters that we haven't seen in a while, just throughout that. Some of the Waterbender tribe that Katara and Sokka's dad has a fleet. And the whole plan is, hey, we're going to go in. And they're like, oh, man. Oh, yeah, the Inventor, too. The Inventor from the one episode a while back. Season 1, actually, I think it was. So apparently they developed submarines thanks to Sokka's genius. Using water bending, they're able to create, like, air bubbles in, like, and keep the water surrounding it. So it's like a forced bubble of air while they go underneath the water and just submarine their way through the Fire Nation Navy, and the Navy has no idea what they're doing. They get to the capital, they burst in. Aang's meant to go and take down the Fire Lord while they're making their way to make sure that the army can't get into the palace. Unfortunately, it doesn't go too well because the Fire Lord already knows this is going down and is just not in the palace. So
all of the grounds are empty. No guards, nobody there.
No one around anywhere. So they realize that there must be some hidden bunker, right? Like somewhere, like probably close by, and maybe the volcano is their next bet. It's like, oh hey, I'm good at finding underground tunnels, and it's just Toph there. You want to find something underground? I can do it. So I think it's Katara doesn't come along. It's just Toph, Sokka, and Aang go in. They eventually, after like a few seconds of looking, Toph immediately is like, yep, there it is, right over there. They like lift off, like they earth bend their way into the tunnels and start searching around. And eventually they find the place. Like they grab a guard, slam him against the wall, and it's like, you look for the Fire Lord, he's right down that way. In that hole, take left, right around the corner. Like immediately gives it up. And I'm shocked that they just let the guy go. Honestly, I thought Toph would have just trapped him against the wall.
Yes, I'm half surprised
Like-
they didn't either.
Yeah, I think she would have just like earth bent the wall around him so he couldn't get away, and it kept his mouth shut. Like, just to make sure nothing went wrong. Like, that would have been my bet, but that didn't happen. Either way. Because, like, as they leave, he, like, looks around, like, looks left and right, dusts himself off, and goes back to whistling, walking down the corridor. Well, they get to the room, and there's no Fire Lord. But there is an Azula, who's just like, I've been waiting for you. In the meantime, Zuko said, fuck all of this. Fuck my dad. I'm gonna go help the Avatar because this shit's fucked. I should also point out that over the course of like the last 10 episodes, Zuko's been periodically visiting Iroh, who's been imprisoned. And apparently Iroh's just been getting swole this whole time when nobody's looking. Like, he'll jump up and he has like an iron barred ceiling, and he'll use that for like chin-ups and shit. There's a point where like he's doing the whole push-ups into claps and stuff. And when a guard like walks his way in to see what's going on, there he is in the corner looking like a lost old man, just slowly clapping his hands, just like he's trying to catch a fly or something. So nobody realizes Iroh's just getting swole over the course until the day of Black Sun, where it's just like, I can fucking bust out of here with my own strength. I don't need firebending.
Do you think Mako's death contributed to the fact Iroh didn't have many lines?
I was thinking that. I think while they did find a decent substitute for him, I feel like the decision to keep quiet was in fact because of Mako's passing. That said, it wasn't a terrible decision. It was a very good choice. It still worked really well in the narrative for Iroh to just not speak much, if at all. He spoke a handful of words occasionally to like the guards or whatever, but when Zuko showed up, he wouldn't speak to Zuko.
Yeah, but then near the end, he had like a full-on conversation with Zuko in like the final 2 or 3 episodes.
And like going back through this, like as we have been, I can hear the difference, but I still think the replacement does a damn good job.
He also replaced Mako doing Aku. Right?
Yes, he is also the replacement for Aku, which is literally probably because of Avatar's replacement. But yeah, during the night, the day of Black Sun, Iroh escapes. Zuko meets his dad, tells him he's gonna fuck off and leave him. And in the meantime, Toph, Zuko, and Aang are all fighting Azula.
Sokka.
Who has...
Sokka. You said Zuko.
Sorry. Sokka are all fighting Azula, who's just constantly dodging and is way too agile to hit. It brings to the point of Azula doesn't need her bending. She's literally agile enough to just avoid attacks. Imagine, all right? Imagine if she had Ty Lee's ability to just shut off people's bending. She'd be damn near unstoppable.
Wait, she's doing this to distract us. Oh, maybe I am. But what about your girlfriend, Sokka?
Oh yeah, they like realize that it's a distraction, and then she starts fucking with them, like mentally fucking with them. Oh man, that what are they? The Katoshi warriors? Oh man, they were shit, you know.
I love to hate Azula.
And her voice actress, Grey Delisle, just plays it up so good. Like those lines are just her relishing being a piece of shit. Oh man. Fuck, what else? Yeah, they run out of time. They're like, we can't fight the Fire Lord right now. Like, we've lost our chance. The eclipse is over. We have completely lost our chance. There is no way. So the army retreats. They did manage to get their job done. They did get what they needed to get to stop it. But with the Fire Lord not defeated and firebending coming back, they're like, well, shit, we gotta go. So as they're trying to escape, they're like, there's no way. Because guess what happens? We got Fire Nation Zeppelins showing up, and they're running down toward the shore to destroy their escape boats. They're not getting away. So everyone in the army is like, look, like Team Avatar and like the rest of the kids that are there, you guys gotta go. Get out. Get out of here on Appa. Fly on out. we'll take whatever needs to happen. Whether we're killed, captured, what have you, we'll take the fall. You guys still have a chance to stop this before Sozin's comet. So they end up leaving everyone who, from my understanding, ends up being captured and not immediately executed, which, I would assume would be the first thing that a nation like this would do, is execute the people that have risen up and nearly taken their capital.
So the next few episodes are about Zuko trying to befriend Team Avatar, even though he tried to kill them for the past 2.5 seasons.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there's a great scene where it's just we get a face front look at Zuko, and it's like, "Hey guys, Zuko here." It's like, are you talking to the audience?
And he's talking to a frog, practicing what he'll say to Team Avatar.
Yeah, like how he's gonna apologize, be like, "Yeah, I'm good now. I get it."
Yeah, I know that was awful.
Oh, we should mention when the team leaves, they go back to the Western Air Temple, a place we haven't been to yet. Now, I love this design for a building. It's literally inside of a fucking canyon, and it's underneath the cliffs, and it's upside down. It's upside down buildings growing out of the bottom of a cliff inside of a canyon. It looks so cool.
It was.
Let's see here. Let me see if I can get a picture for you, Orion. Like, it's such a cool idea. Like, I love it so much. Yeah, here we go. Oh shit, does this actually exist?
By the way, you're talking about voice actors. Remind me at the end of this, because I was watching someone who posted like 4-hour things of Saturday morning cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh god, I haven't seen that in ages.
And there's a guy, I'll tell at the end, but yeah, I noticed the voice. Yeah, this looks cool.
Like, it is such a cool idea. Apparently, there's a place. I'm not sure where this is.
They're just all upside down.
All the buildings are upside down. Like, I assume that, like,
how the hell does that even work?
Well, like, I assume that, like, your chairs and stuff and all that other things are right side up, but the buildings are built underneath a cliff.
And since they're airbenders, they could easily, like, fly their way in.
Oh, yeah, they'll just fly their way in. Like, it doesn't matter to them. Like, it is an awesome and cool design, and I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite places that they visit in this series is this, because it's such an awesome idea.
Like, where did you say this may exist?
I'm not sure where this is. I'm not sure if it's China or if it's somewhere else. But it's not upside down, but it's built like into the mountain itself.
I think I've seen not this, but like.
Let me see here. I've got an image because they've been like posted alongside images of this.
Things.
But like something like that.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, I'm not sure where this is at though. Like, it could be China, it could be I don't think it's Japan. It looks more like a Chinese style. But I could be wrong. But oh man. Like I said, I love this upside down fucking stalagmite / tight idea for this location. It looks so cool. So yeah, the next couple of episodes are basically like, oh hey, cool, let's get Zuko accumulated to the group. Like, one is Zuko realizing, shit, I can't firebend anymore, and I don't know why. Like, he'll do like a punch or something, and it'll just be like, and it's like a tiny little flame that pops out. Like, I lost my stuff. And Toph's just like, I didn't take it. Don't look at me. I didn't do it.
Because Zuko wants to be Aang's firebending teacher.
Yep. Zuko is going to be Aang's firebending teacher after a bit of deliberation and Katara being real fucking pissed because she betrayed him in season 2 real bad. Like, she is very against this idea. Eventually, they're like, look, practically, where are we going to find another firebending teacher? We can look for Zhong Zhong from season 1, but we have no fucking idea where the hell he'll be. And Zuko's kind of offering himself up on a silver platter, even to the point where it's like, they don't want him. And he's like, fine, like, take me as your prisoner. And they're like, we ain't fucking doing that either. Get the fuck out of here.
And then he admits he sent Combustion Man after them, and he's really sorry for it.
Oh yeah, that was a bad move, because now they're like, you sent that idiot after us? It's literally not until Combustion Man shows up and he literally helps to take him out that they're like, fine, we'll trust you for now. But even Katara's like, I hate this. I hate this so much that we got to do this.
Was Combustion Man's actual name given?
I don't think so.
Combustion Man.
Yeah, last we see of Combustion Man, he's falling into like the depths of the canyon, which kind of makes me assume he dies.
Yes.
I assume he's dead. Oh no, it's not. I lied. The last we see is somebody like hitting him with a fucking pebble in the eye, like the third eye that's tattooed on his head. Him like grabbing it, and what I assume is a self-combustion, because all we see at the end is like the metal gauntlet arm he had flying off into the distance. That's the last we see of him.
And to relearn firebending, they need to go to this ancient firebending temple to see if they can find information.
Well, they decide, like, look, we got to go back to the source. Unfortunately, the source was the dragons. They were the ones that taught us, like, taught firebenders how to bend fire. Turns out, Iroh was the last one, supposedly, to have killed a dragon, and they're extinct. So, like, well, we'll go back to, like, the place where we last... What is it? The place where firebending was born, I think it was. Which was called the Sun Warriors, a place called where the ruins of the Sun Warriors, I think was the name or something like that.
Temple of Sun Warriors.
Temple of the Sun Warriors,
maybe.
But they start going in there. They do some shenanigans inside the temple that is very much akin to like Indiana Jones, except they don't get away with it. Some like kind of giant glue like glob thing fills up the temple, and they're stuck at the top, just barely with their heads above this grate, just like trying to breathe. And like, well, we can't get out of this. And it's like, so what do we do now? And Zuko's just like looks left, looks right, contemplate our place in the universe. Eventually the Sun Warriors show up. A culture they thought was completely extinct is actually quite alive. And they're like, oh, you guys want to learn firebending, fuckers? All right, fine. I'm going to show you to the masters, and they'll decide whether or not you're worth it. Turns out they get to the end. The masters are, in fact, dragons. The last two living dragons, as far as we're aware.
This was during Iroh's change of heart, and
Yes.
he really didn't want to kill all the dragons, so he claimed he killed them and left the Sun Warriors to be their own people.
Yes. It's probably, in fact, if I was to guess, and I don't know if this is ever like outright said, I'm going to guess this was probably not long after his son had died. When Iroh's son died, that's when he started rethinking everything. And he probably lost his firebending much the same way Zuko did. And came here and did the same idea. Probably relearned it and was like... Probably told someone he was off on a dragon hunt, and then was like, no, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna tell them that they're actually alive. He's gonna be like, I killed the last one. They're all dead. Probably because there were rumors of dragons still being around in the Sun Warrior place, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
They learned firebending, and of course, you know, Sokka's got to make fun of it because the style they learned is called the dancing dragon. So it's like, oh man, yeah, your little dance moves are funny. It's like, it's a firebending style, man. It's so cool. It's a martial art. It's like, oh really? What's it called? The dancing dragon. We get like an entire episode of just a jailbreak.
Yeah, two.
2 episodes. Oh, that's right. It is a double episode. Yes. There's a double episode of breaking out of prison, or breaking in and then breaking out of prison, I guess. Because Sokka gets word about his dad being captured and being sent to a prison. Or no, he asks Zuko where is a place that war criminals would be sent to, right? And he's like, oh, it would probably be like here, and I'm gonna tag along with you because fuck you, you're gonna get yourself killed if you go on your own. Long story short, they fail the first attempt, which is interesting actually because they have a literal like a holding cell for firebenders that is just straight up a giant ice box full of air conditioners, so they can't firebend. It's set in like a dormant volcano, I believe, with a boiling lake of water around it. So yeah, they say, good luck getting out of here. You got to take the gondola out if you want to get out.
I'm just looking at release dates, and the second half of this season was all in a week.
Wow.
Which is weird that they push it out daily.
It's very interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to imagine it was Nickelodeon or something that was forcing that kind of pace.
Like, I could see Sozin's Comet being a movie event and having all 4 episodes together, but I'm surprised everything was daily.
So, yeah, long story short, on this one, they do eventually get out. However, Azula's there, tries to stop it, only for both May and Ty Lee to be like, no, fuck you. May being like, I love Zuko more than I fear you. And this is kind of when Azula starts having a mental breakdown. Because she's got that Machiavellian idea of it's better to be feared than loved as a leader, like ingrained in her brain as the only thing that works. And so like the idea that fear does not rule everything kind of just starts making her snap. They do find Suki, the leader of the Kyoshi Warriors, also captured in there. So we get Suki, we get the new firebender dude that apparently Sokka befriended to escape with, who never shows up again, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, he's...
Like, after that episode, he's just gone.
Yeah, he's too busy sailing off, escaping.
Well, no, not even that, because he's with them on the gondola at the end, but he leaves behind his girl and his best mate that are in the prison.
Yeah.
So I guess they weren't as important as he thought the first time.
Nope.
Yeah, they get out with Suki, Sokka's dad, with May and Ty Lee being captured in the end and being essentially locked in prison because Azula's so pissed off that they, like, fucking betrayed her. We get Katara going after the guy that killed her mom, quote unquote killed, because again, it's super unclear. And realizing that, you know what? Revenge is not the answer here. Like, I can't bring myself to kill the dude.
And she...
Who apparently has a really pathetic life, living under his probably even more ancient than him mom.
And she forces herself to use fire... She forces herself to use firebending. I mean... Bloodbending.
Apparently this is the one case where she's going to use it because it's the fucker that killed her mom. Turns out wrong person, and when she does find the correct one, it's exactly as I said, where this guy is just living under the shit creek with his mom.
Oh, these tomatoes are too hard for my teeth. Get me softer ones. Mother.
Yeah, just horrible. And then...
I took your mother. You take my mother. Hey.
Yeah, please.
There.
Take her. I don't want her. Just get rid of her for me.
They go to see a play?
Yeah, the next one is a play that more or less kind of recaps the entirety of the series while just making fun of the whole thing. Like, it's a great recap episode for how stupid it is.
Acting Toph is amazing.
No. Like, Toph is just, like, calling everyone out and being like, yeah, these caricatures are pretty accurate. You're super motherly about everything, Katara. Sokka, you make shit jokes, even though they are kind of funny. Aang is apparently, like, very feminine and in touch with his feminine side. And then you meet Toph, who is just cast as, like, this big muscle-bound guy who screams at people for echolocation purposes.
And Toph loves it.
She's just like, wait, I feel like a big muscle-bound guy. And Katara's just like, yeah, Toph, the truth hurts, doesn't it? But that's the real you up there, using the same words Toph had told her earlier. And she's like, Yeah, and I love it. I wouldn't have cast it any different. Perfect. Like, there's a point during intermission where Sokka sneaks himself backstage with Suki and just like starts giving like joke tips to his goddamn actor. And he's like, these are actually pretty good.
It's like, oh, another soccer fan. No,
Oh god,
no.
not another fan.
It's like, oh, these are pretty funny.
Well, these jokes are pretty good, damn. And then, you know, the play tells the future of how the Fire Lord completely destroys the Avatar and wins. Which is kind of fucking weird. Actually, this is where they reference the Cabbage Merchant, because they're like, oh man, this was taken from a whole bunch of like passers-by and a very experienced Cabbage Merchant.
Yes.
But like, I like this as a setup for the characters, but in my mind, as a setup, as they play in this world, it doesn't make as much sense. At least with what they showed us. There might have been more background stuff between like the Fire Lord and Azula and, you know, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it seems weird because, again, you're doing this play and it seems like you're setting up the Avatar as like the actual hero and not the Fire Lord.
Yeah.
Which you would think as a propaganda style play, you would be setting up the Fire Lord and Azula as like the main people. Also, they make fun of the point where like Jet in season 2, quote unquote, dies, and they're like, who was it? I forget who asked it, but I think it was like Katara or Suki or something. Or like, did Jet just die? And Sokka's just like, you know, it was very unclear. It's like, yeah, even the show's very unclear with that. Like, I don't know. Did he die? He doesn't show up in the show again.
And then the Sozin Comet 4-episode movie, kind of. This was originally going to be 3 episodes, but they more forced Nickelodeon into giving them an additional episode because it was impossible for them to fit it all into 3, what they were planning. So Nickelodeon did give them a 4th episode, and that's why this season is 21 as opposed to 20 as with the previous 2.
I believe this starts off with Aang disappearing, if I recall correctly, right?
I think that happens.
No, it starts off with the training with Melon Lord.
Melon Lord.
So, Sokka sets up this whole like mock battle where Toph plays the Fire Lord on the top of a cliff, and she takes like rocks, dips them in oil, and then sets them on fire with like a brazier that's nearby and launches them at everyone. And everyone else is like planning their tactics on how to take out the Fire Lord, where it's like, all right, Aang, you swoop in at the end and just whack him and he's dead. And it's like, as they're doing this, and Toph's having the time of her life, and they're like, she's getting real close to everyone with these rocks, and like Sokka's yelling at her like, Toph, come on!
I am
like,
not Toph!
We're getting real close with these, and it's like,
I am not Toph! I am Melon Lord!
Just laughing her ass off at this. Like, it's, I fucking love Toph, I'm sorry. And she's just like having the time of her life. And when Aang does go in for the kill, he can't do it. Everything in his body, everything he was taught since he was a child is screaming at him to not kill. Because he's a pacifist. He's a monk. Killing is like the ultimate thing he will refuse to do.
So Orion,
and I'll point before you ask this, I will point this out that when Sokka realizes like, look, you can't do this. Look, watch. This is how you do it. While it doesn't show you, you get the feeling that Sokka is the character that would totally just chop the head off of that Fire Lord if he was given the chance. He would instantly kill him without a second thought.
So Orion, how does a pacifist stop somebody who wants to take over the world?
Don't forget, this is an uber powerful dude that wants to take over the world.
I don't know. How the hell does that even work? By manipulating people? I don't know.
Reverse psychology, Orion. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You tell him, you really want to take over the world, huh? No, I don't!
Yeah, I had a theory and I was wrong, but I want to claim I was kind of right, even though I phrased it incorrectly. Part of my theory was right.
You are wrong.
I know I phrased it incorrectly, but
It's not even the phrase.
okay.
Like, you said he will invent a new type of bending. He did not do either of those things.
He did use,
He didn't invent it. It wasn't new.
but he did use it.
Hey, look, there's a vast difference between both of those things, though. Like, you're literally asking me to jump across a canyon for what you're saying.
Is it a canyon with hanging structures?
Just because it's a cool canyon doesn't make it any easier. You have no idea how much I was grinning ear to ear when you were like saying what you thought was going to happen, and I'm just sitting here like, you are so close yet so wrong.
But you admit I was close!
You're about as close as jumping off of that canyon was going to get you to the other side.
Shut up, dude!
I refuse to give you the points for this one.
Give me 1 point out of 100!
No, this is an all or nothing game, sir.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Aang does disappear. He sleepwalks into the ocean, and everybody's saying, like, where did Aang go? Is he having more nightmares? And Zuko says, like, oh, I know somebody that can find him. Takes them to see the tracker woman from season 1, was it?
I think it was definitely season 1. I forget if she showed up in season 2 as well.
Yeah, but they give her Aang's staff and, like, her monster, whatever, like, gives this...
I'm honestly not sure what it is. I'm not sure what the
It gives this a sniff. It's like, oh, he's not around. We can't find him. Like, you mean he's dead? No, if he was dead, we could find the body. He's just not around anyway.
He doesn't exist, is the term she uses.
But they could find the second best person, Iroh. So Zuko pulls out some sweaty sock or something?
Sandal. It's like, who was it? Was it Toph? Who was like, you just carry your uncle's sweaty sandal around? Which apparently he must do. I don't know why, but he does.
So the Fire Lord, he's like, oh, I'm going to be king of the world now. Azula, you are now Fire Lord, while I am Phoenix King.
Well, no, she was freaking out at first because she thought that she was being treated like Zuko. Because he wasn't being, like, he wasn't taking her with him. He has to, like, console her of, like, look, all right, this is a very important job. And I can only entrust this to you to take care of the homeland. You will be the new Fire Lord, while I will die and be reborn as the Phoenix King. Also, we should point out again, because I know we've mentioned this before, but this is fucking Mark Hamill playing the Fire Lord.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I could sense hints of the Joker in his voice, but, like, Joker losing all humor.
His position is so different. He is so goddamn fucking serious in this about just becoming this fucking unbridled king of the world.
And this is great casting, I would say.
Mark Hamill's gotta love this shit, because he goes from being like the super uber hero in fucking Star Wars to like the crazy maniac of the Joker, and then the serious, I'm going to light the world on fire, fucking Fire Lord. Like, he has just gone the entire breadth, I think that's the word I'm looking for, of like characters from the pure-hearted. The only thing I don't think he's played at this point is unless you want to count like the new Star Wars trilogy, the uncertain hero, like, or the selfish hero. That's like the only thing he hasn't done.
There's probably stuff he did that we don't know, because, like...
It's very true.
Yeah, because he's probably did so much voice acting that
Oh yeah.
he probably had one of those roles, maybe.
Especially if it's in like, I don't know, let's just say like one of those first things when you're like trying to pitch a show.
Oh, okay.
Pilot. In like a pilot. See here. Just out of curiosity. Oh shit! I didn't know this! He played Skeletor at some point?
What?
Master of the Universe Revelation. It's an upcoming show. It's the new one, the new He-Man that's coming out this year. He plays Skeletor. The shit. He was in the new Dark Crystal show.
Again?
Uh-huh. Oh shit, he plays Chucky in the new Child's Play.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I did hear that.
He was in Kingdom Hearts 3 as Master Ericus. Forgot that was him. What else we got here? What else we got? Some of these I don't really like. I'm not connecting at all with anything here. What else we have? What else he do? None of these. The Batman Arkham VR in 2016. He's played a lot of Joker roles, which is perfect because he's one of the best Jokers. What else? Lego TV shows. He's in the Lego movie. I'm just trying to see if there's any other characters I really recognize in this at this point. Who else did you play? Oh, he's played a bunch of Scooby-Doo characters, like side characters. Specifically in the Camp Scare movie from 2010. Huh. Did not do that. He played a lot of regular show characters. Holy fuck. God damn. A shit ton. This Yeti-looking character called Skips he played. A random Wizard 1. Benson's dad. A clown at some point.
Well, maybe... I know Skips is a main character, so...
I play Skips then.
Yep.
Let's see. There's a random man in a tuxedo. Man in Park number 2. Kid number 2. Destroyer of Worlds. He plays a British taxi. Holy fuck, has he played a lot of characters. Killer Scarecrow. Guy in donut costume. Like, shit.
Guy in donut costume.
They had him doing a lot of voice work for that show. Like, fuck, dude.
Less Mark Hamill, more Avatar.
I don't know. I like the Afro Samurai Resurrection movie? What?
I think we may have mentioned this during our Afro Samurai...
Yeah, but that was a movie. That wasn't the show.
Oh. Huh.
Like, what the shit? Oh, God. I forgot Goro Majima. I did forget about that.
Yes!
Like, you keep bringing that up, and I always forget about it. He played Sticky Beard in the Kids Next Door show? That was him? He's been in Robot Chicken quite a bit.
Of course.
He played the fucking Skeleton King in Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. God, I had to slow down how to say that. He was fucking Undergrowth in the Danny Phantom movie? How do I not know half of this shit? I felt like I was pretty good at picking up Mark Hamill. Like, what the shit? He was in Cow and Chicken? Mayor of Hole and a vet, but still, he was in Cow and Chicken? He played a lot of characters in Johnny Bravo? What is this?
He's a voice actor now.
I didn't realize he was this big of a voice actor. He was the Hobgoblin in the Spider-Man 1994 series. He was in SWAT Cats?
Dude, SWAT Cats was awesome.
I'm sorry, my mind's... He was Larry 3000 in Time Squad. I'm sorry, my mind's just being blown right now. Like, what the shit? How did I not know these? All right, I think I'm done. I think I'm done having my mind just exploding on the inside. Where did we leave off? Aang disappearing?
Yes.
And just Ozai being like, I'm gonna take over the world on this blimp.
As the Phoenix King.
Yes, okay, that's where we left. I'm sorry. I went off on a whole big old just mind explosion trip here. All right, so we like go back to Aang for a bit, and we're just like, oh my god, where am I? What am I doing? What's going on here? He finds like this section of ground on this island he's found himself on that he says isn't something he can bend. Like he tries to earthbend it or do things to it, and it doesn't react. But he feels like some kind of spiritual presence. So he's like, all right, you know what? What if I meditate here and see what the other previous avatars have to say? So he goes through like the gamut of like the last 4 avatars, looking back to see like what advice they can give a man that does not want to kill the person he needs to stop. Roku shows up and he's like, you need to be decisive. If I was more decisive, I could have stopped this war before it started. We get Kyoshi being like, you basically need to do what has to be done. You can't ignore your duty. Or no, she wasn't the duty one. That was the next one. It was something else Kyoshi said. I forget which one it was. But we go back to the water avatar, the previous water avatar, who was like, I was a really relaxed man. I used to like, surf on the waves with my ice board. And, if I would have paid more attention to my duty, my wife's face wouldn't have been stolen by the spirit dude that we met back in season 1. So, you have to do your duty. And then all the way back to the last air nomad avatar, we get advice of like, the thing that you've always wanted, the thing you were taught growing up, enlightenment, the avatar can never have. You cannot disconnect yourself from the world and every worldly thing because your duty is to the world. You can't have the one thing you were taught that you would need, that you would desperately look to get.
So basically, she's saying that, hey, your duty is to kill him, even though it goes against everything you were taught.
Finally, Aang ends up like realizing he's getting close to land, and then he jumps off of the thing and starts swimming and realizes that he's in fact been on top of a living animal this whole time. And he's like, I gotta go check this out. What is this? And the next thing we know, the thing like brings up its arm with Aang on it. It stares at him, and then it pokes him with 2 claws on the heart and the head.
What is it?
Like, they call it a lion turtle. It's basically a massive ass turtle with like a more lion-like face to it.
And it is like the originator of bending.
According to Korra. Which I still don't like that
Beckham?
idea.
Sorry?
Say that again?
I said it wasn't David Beckham?
Nope, sadly not.
No.
All right.
Yes, I'm not going to lie. I don't like this idea. The way it's presented in Korra, I'll be the first one to admit I don't like it. But whenever we get to Korra, assuming we do that, which I'm going to assume we will at some point, we'll deal with that.
Yeah, it may be a while before we get to Korra, because...
Assuming we even want to do it for this and not just do it as something else.
Yeah. Probably side stuff.
It might be. I don't know. Well, anyway, Aang ends up waiting over on like these giant spires of rock, much like a DBZ wasteland. It's like it's weird. It's like a bunch of rocks sticking up as like spires out of the ground. And he's just waiting on one, being like, the Fire Lord will show up eventually. He'll be here. This is where it'll start.
Now that you say DBZ, I'm like, yes, it did seem DBZ-esque.
Yeah, it's like a DBZ style wasteland. That's where the final battle takes place. Although it's definitely different because it's not just flat rocks and stuff. You've got like a forest of rock spires. Sokka, Katara, or not Katara, Sokka and Toph and Suki end up landing on like the Zeppelins and getting on and start sabotaging it from the inside. Meanwhile, Zuko and Katara go after Azula. We get our fight with Azula, which like during this time, like just before, she's like getting ready for her coronation to be the new Fire Lord, and she starts losing her shit. Like she doesn't trust her own hair not to betray her and starts snipping it herself because she's like banished all of her servants. which, you know, if this was not a kid's show, they'd just be executed on the spot. Like,
Yeah.
like one of them was holding a tray of grapes or cherries or something, and she bites into it, and it's like, what is this? And pulls out like a pit from her mouth, and she's like, it's a pit, princess. I see. And were you trying to kill me on the day of my coronation? I could have eaten this, and it could have gotten stuck, and what might have happened? You might have choked, princess. Yes, I might have choked. And it's like, she's like, so you were trying to assassinate me. No, princess, I wasn't. Please have mercy. It's like, oh, very well. It is the day of the coronation. I'll have mercy. Banishment. Like, she's banishing literally everyone to the point where she can't do her own hair. She can't do it herself because she clearly doesn't have the training. She has, like, thrown a fucking, like, brush in fury at her mirror, shattered it, and she starts talking to, like, the ghostly reflection of her mother, who tells her that she loves her, which Azula does not believe at all. She calls in her advisors, like the two old granny twins, and she's like, I'll have you fight an Agni Kai, like a firebending duel. It's like, but we're not firebenders. Oh, fine. Lee, you're banished. Lu, you stay. And they're like she points to the Lu. It's like, but I'm Lee. Yeah, and I'm Lu. So like, who's actually banished then?
So then, like, Zuko shows up.
Like, Azula's just breaking down mentally at this point.
Zuko does show up to take the proper Fire Lord throne, and he has a firebending duel with Azula, and it is quite intense.
This fight plays out with basically only music and the muted sound effects of like the fire and footsteps, and that's it, with amazing lighting going on from like the firebending. This is damn near on par with the season finale of season 1, where it was literally black being lit with color from their firebending, like with Azula's blue fire flying out and Zuko's own red flames. And eventually it gets to the point where Azula's just like, at first I should point out that Zuko and Katara were going to take her at the same time, and Zuko's like, no, something's off. I think I can take her on my own. Something's wrong with her. Like, he knows, he can tell something's wrong. The fight eventually ends with Azula just being like, fuck the rules, and swinging lightning at Katara, and Zuko having to jump in and block it, which he manages to discharge, but he doesn't do it properly, which means that he's fucked his insides up pretty bad with it. And Azula starts coming after Katara, so Katara can't even try to heal him. The fight eventually ends with like Katara standing over a aqueduct-style grate and bringing the water up after she lures in Azula and just freezing both of them. And Katara slowly like changing the water around just herself into water so that way she can get out. And like chain up Azula to the grate, like letting Azula's arms free. And Azula's in the middle of trying to throw lightning. So it's like, well, fuck, if she just charges this lightning now, she kills both her and Katara. So she can't even do that, because it'll conduct in the water. Like, the end result is just Azula stuck on her knees, chained to this grate underneath her, with her arms behind her, weeping and breathing fire out of her mouth, just crying miserable on the ground, just mentally shattered.
I'm just wondering, in the graphic novels, does she get less psychotic?
No, but it's done worse from what I've heard. Like, her psychosis is done way worse.
Oh.
Like, she's trying to justify that there was some secret plan in place, that she would roll through Zuko as a puppet. So that's more or less where Azula gets left off. We cut back to like Aang. This is going back and forth at more or less the same time at this point. We cut back to Toph and Suki and Sokka just running through taking control of a ship. Oh, and Sokka starts talking about, all right, you need to go and fly the ship. Meanwhile, we'll go do this. And Toph is just sitting there like, yeah, make the blind girl fly the ship. And he's like, I was talking to Suki.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that makes way more sense.
Because all these airships, granted by the power of Sozin Comet, are setting the entire forest ablaze.
Oh yeah, Sozin Comet kicks in, and it's literally like giant-ass napalm water cannons, essentially, flying off of this ship now. You just see them burning the land to death. God, what else? What else happens then? We get to the point where like they're destroying the fleet. I'm not going to get too in depth into this part of it, but yeah, the fleet eventually gets destroyed. Sokka loses his lovely space sword in the process, and that's more or less it for them until we get to the very end. We have Aang and Ozai's fight. Fuck, this fight's good.
Yes.
I struggle to decide which one I like more. Is it this or Azula versus Zuko? Like, this one is way more dynamic, but the emotion and shit between Zuko and Azula's fight is way better.
I will say Zuko Azula is the superior fight.
Like, it's right there. I have a hard time deciding. Like, it would change on any given day, I would think. Just because of the way this ends up going. So
I would say due to the emotions of it, the Azula Zuko fight is far superior.
Mm-hmm. So Aang tries to fight Ozai, doesn't exactly go well. Eventually, Aang like curls himself into like a rock ball with Ozai just constantly throwing fire at him and having like an afterburner style flame blasting against the rock ball. Literally, you see it starting to glow red hot, like it's gonna melt into lava. And it gets blown away, and Aang gets forced back against
a spike.
Another spire with a spike sticking out, which jams into his back, which the idea, I believe, is it unlocks the chi gate or whatever it is. I forget what the name of it is.
Chakra.
That had been locked when Azula had shot him with lightning back at the end of season 2, reawakening the Avatar state. And suddenly, Aang just starts going apeshit. At this point, I don't think he's in control of himself. I think this is autopilot again.
Because he was going to learn to control the Avatar state, but the 7th chakra held him back. So you're right, he is on autopilot now.
So you see him like bring in a sphere of air around himself. He breathes like fire, which puts a ring of fire circling around himself. Outside of that sphere, he pulls water from like the nearby ocean, giving himself another ring of water this time. And then a third ring, he like grabs a bunch of rocks from the spires and condenses them down into hyper dense balls of earth circling around, orbiting around him. He's a fucking little universe in and of himself, like a little atom. And he just runs around chasing down Ozai, firing at him with water, fire, earth, to the point where like he starts flicking his fingers, right? And one of the earth balls just starts machine gun firing little pebbles of earth out of it at Ozai. And it's just destroying everything in its path. Like, finally, he ends up getting Ozai down to the point of like, I'm gonna fucking murder you. And that's when Aang regains control of himself and turns around and is just like, no, I don't want to do it this way. This is not who I am.
So Orion, how does he do it? How does he stop him?
He does a scissor kick, puts his head between his thighs, dudes, and pops his head like a watermelon.
Not quite.
No. Does he call an Acme delivery in? Does he like try to get him to run through a fake wall that he painted?
I was gonna say when fucking Wile E. Coyote shows up as the delivery man. Like he stopped buying, he's just working for him now.
So when the lion turtle They touched Aang. Oh my god, that just sounds weird.
A little bit.
Where did the lion turtle touch you? It touched me on my heart and on my brain.
Touched inside my skull.
So it taught Aang energy bending.
I don't even think it's energy bending. I don't think that's the correct term. So
That's what the episode description on Wikipedia refers to it as, so I'm just going to call it that.
Because I had assumed, based on the way that this was spoken, it was called spirit bending. Then again, I guess it's because spirits themselves are a different thing, are an entity in and of themselves, so I guess it wouldn't make sense then.
The Avatar Wiki refers to it as energy bending.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, the terminology would be weird. Either way. So we get a flashback to like that lion turtle touching Aang, and we actually get to hear what he was saying now, rather than just the grumbles that we heard the first time. Where he talks about how long before men had learned to bend the elements, they used to bend the spirit, their own spirits, or the energy inside them, and like to bend the energy of another, your own spirit has to be unbendable. Like you have to stay rock solid.
Have like iron willpower.
Yes, basically, because if you're not, you yourself will be corrupted. So Ozai even says at the very end, like, even at the end when you could have stopped me, you're still too weak. And as he goes to fire, Aang like backsteps, captures his arm in like rock, his arms and legs in like rock, and like brings more rock up to like hold his face in place. And he starts like touching his skull. And you just see, and this is the part where it gets interesting, because all music cuts out. You only get the sound effect of like resonating, I don't know, tuning forks or something. Like two different resonating tuning forks. And the entire screen splits between like red and blue. And you see that like slowly the look of like skin and stuff fades away from both of them. And it's just like this pure energy looking blue glow from Aang and red glow from the Fire Lord. And you slowly see like the red creeping up and into Aang to the point where like it's only just his one eye that's left that's glowing blue, and you get a far shot of just red everywhere other than this one singular line of blue, until eventually, and no one's moving. I should point this out. Neither of them are moving until suddenly at this point Aang's face, rather than looking up at the sky, looks down on the Fire Lord, and the blue just floods everything else. And what Aang has instead done has taken away the Fire Lord's firebending. And essentially, from what I could tell, somewhat leaves him in a not quite so mentally acute state.
So what would have happened if Aang would have been all red? Would he have died, or...?
He would have been corrupted and probably died. Which leads you to wonder what would have happened to the avatars later on anyway. Like, would that have stayed a corruption?
Like an evil avatar? Or... Like, what do you mean by corrupted?
My assumption is that by corrupted, it means that the avatar himself, they couldn't be as pure as Aang is, or like as pure-hearted, right? There would probably be just like a constant self-centered selfishness to them. At the very minimum. Like there would have been leftovers of Ozai's person. Actually, perfect example. Fucking Harry Potter, right? As like pieces of Voldemort are left inside of Harry. Like the reason Harry can speak to snakes is quite literally because of Voldemort. Like there'd be pieces of Ozai's personality and shit left inside.
Oh. Huh.
That's the way I would take it, at least. If not fully a essentially new Ozai in Aang, pieces of it would have been left inside.
So, Fire Lord Zuko now declares the war is over, and the Fire Nation shall now be a nation of peace.
Withdraw the colonies, which is actually part of the comic book that follows this. is like dealing with the Fire Nation colonies idea.
He gets back together with May, who was on and off with him for this season.
And she eventually is like, oh, I forgive you, but don't fucking break up with me again. Because the way he broke up with her was just leaving her a note and running away.
There is a teaser about where is Zuko's mother.
Yeah, there's like a teaser of like him going to see Ozai in prison and being like, you're going to tell me where my mother is. And that's it. Like, right there. Where's your season 4?
Kylie joined the Kyoshi Warriors.
Yep. They're going to learn chi blocking.
And Aang and Katara have one last kiss and then it ends.
Oh, we should also point out that, they're back in the Earth Kingdom just being like, oh man, Zuko wants to go ahead, or no, not Zuko, Sokka wants to go ahead and just paint a picture of this nice peacetime that we now all have, and it looks like garbage. Like, they all call him out, like, hey, I'm not that fat anymore. What the fuck are those? Those are your hair loopies.
Because Sokka can't do that boy shit.
And of course, there's Toph. You all look great to me.
This was a good series.
I love this series so much. It makes me sad to think that Korra comes along and kind of fucks up a lot of it.
And M. Night Shyamalan.
We just pretend that doesn't exist.
We will be covering that on our bad movie. Wait. I thought you said you wanted to cover it.
You're right, I do. It doesn't mean I'm going to enjoy it.
Yes, on our bad movie podcast that's coming soon as I get a title card from you for it.
I'm sorry. I've been very slow on it.
That's fine. Also speaking about stuff coming soon for us, we will be doing My Hero Academia Season 5 reviews and Thunderbolt Fantasy Season 3 reviews.
Oh, cool.
And you said one thing about voice actors before we tease next time?
Oh, so I was watching Carmen Sandiego, and the head of the spy network, I guess, like the good guys, the blonde-haired ponytail guy, he sounds just like Squidward. Like, exactly like him. And I didn't check, but I'm like 100% positive that it's the voice actor who does Squidward.
Let's just see here. Yes, you're right. He voiced the chief in Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, dude, it's literally the same. Like, it's just Squidward's voice.
And Professor Membrane from Invader Zim.
Oh my god. Not scientifically possible!
That was the best line from that movie.
I think that's the best line in all of Zim.
Yeah.
No, wait, what was the lead-in to that line? It's like, and nobody loves the Earth more than me. I do! Not scientifically possible.
I want to say it was science or something
like
that. Not the Earth, but I could be wrong.
Science.
Okay, next time we will have a historical adventure with lots of countries, I guess.
Watching Animaniacs.
Oh, Germany, don't go murdering everyone.
And to pretty much hit it on the nose, Italy is worthless. If that gives you enough teaser of what we're doing,
I refuse to believe that. They make delicious pasta.
Yes,
they're a very good chef.
You had Little Caesars. Come on, man. Have you had Domino's pasta bowl, dude? Are you kidding me?
So catch me by later.
Whoa. Hold on. I got one more.
Yes. Okay.
All right. How was I going to put this again? Germany, what are you doing? Stop awakening the Pillar Men.
but German technology is the best in the world.
Yeah, Germans are super efficient.
So catch everybody next time.
Bye.
Bye.